Welcome to Happy Shoulders class. I'll be taking a seat. We'll be taking a seat to begin with. So get a comfortable seat. You can take a kneeling position or cross-legged or sit even in a chair and just make yourself comfortable as we spend, let's see, about a 10-minute practice in that seat. So, and feel free to shift the seat as we go along. So we're going to bring our shoulders to more strengthening and more stretching today. So that's a nice balance of both. The shoulders, because they're hypermobile, just do have that flexibility automatically, which can be a detriment at times. And that's where the strengthening comes in. So we want to pull them in and fortify all of the intricate muscles around the shoulders. So let's begin seated where we can align ourselves. And you can have a block handy for some later practice. All righty, if you're on kneeling as I am, you can have a blanket behind the knees to soften that flexible knees there. So shrug your shoulders up to your ears, inhale, and just feel the muscles working as you shrug up to the ears for that tension. Exhale out the tension, drop the shoulders away from the ears. And as you do so, notice that the ears and the shoulders are lined up on that plane in space. And then also that you square the shoulders so that they're more or less aligned with the hips. And then now that we're down at the hips in our mind's eye, let's see if we can just spill that pelvis slightly forward, rub the hands together, warm them, and then place them on your lower back, making sure that that curve is there. Your sits bones are your anchors. So getting comfortable for this seated practice, let's just take the hands down to the bottom of the sits bones and just notice them. And then you can move the flesh away if you'd like to just really get into that anchor. Exhale and feel the hands dropping to the thighs, feeling another sense of grounding here. The shoulders like that sense of grounding. So we've got the earth beneath us. We've got our crown of the head reaching for the sky on an inhale. And then let's close the eyes and take a view of the midline of the body. So that anchor point that's on the vertical plane, which is the spine. And then there's kind of a light space in front of the spine that would be more drawing a line, a plumb line down the middle of the torso. So in your mind's eye, light that space up. And notice your inhale and your exhale, just naturally the ribs are going to expand in all directions. And that's going to push the shoulder sockets out a bit, and as well as the shoulder blades. And then exhaling, they come closer. So as the shoulders come closer to that midline and kind of draw in with those abdominal muscles contracting, continue to breathe naturally. We're just noticing that drawing inward of the shoulders. So we want to help the shoulders do that so they stay aligned and a little drawn back from the sternum so that they're not always hunching forward, which is a common occurrence. So let's just take that view and feel that natural physical rhythm of the breath, so that physical aspect of breath. The shoulders slightly move away and then back towards the middle. So not something we usually observe when we're standing around in space or moving. Ribs expand. And then as conscious breath, we like to take that in our yogic practice. So let's take a 3-part breath. Belly, feel that. Inhale, fill the belly, and then the ribs. And then the third part can go all the way up to those shoulders and to the clavicle, the collarbone part of the shoulder complex, and exhale. And again, 3-part breath. Now take that 3-part into the exhale. So feel the belly contract and the ribs drop slightly towards that midline. And then all the way up to those shoulders, we're drawing everything in as we expel out what we don't need. Now that we're beautifully aligned, let's see if we can align our thoughts as well. So flurry, calm it down. Bring it into a focal point of the third eye. Enjoying the rhythm of that 3-part breath for a few more rounds. Noticing your skeleton in space. So the skeletal structure of our shoulders, those shoulder blades that glue to the back, roll down towards the base of the spine, the shoulder sockets, the clavicle, the humerus bone, the top of the arm bone fitting into the socket there, and all of the joints. And then there's a sternoclavicular joint in the front. So many structures that allow us to reach and clap and dance and whatever we do. So let's flutter the eyes open now and take in your space around you with your eyes, just looking around with the eyes, getting the eye muscles involved, and then gazing forward. Take the fingertips to the base of the mat, feeling an extra anchor there. And then we're going to take the palms to the sky. Inhale, let's feel the outward rotation of our shoulders as we reach up towards the sky. So just feel the shoulders are reaching up, the trapezius is reaching up, and then roll the shoulders away from the ears. So we're taking that outward direction away from the ears and away from the midline here as we drop that. So we definitely fortify our shoulders as we do that. And then tap into your side bodies, this muscles along the ribs, and see if those can lift you up instead of those shoulders. And then exhale, feel your anchor. And we're going to cross the hands and make an X with your arms, and then clasp the fingers together above the head. So this is a clasping of the fingertips and a crossing of the arms, just feeling that reach as you cross the arms. Exactly. Inhale, exhale, rolling shoulders away from the ears. So we're noticing that same rhythm of your breath. And then turn to one side, twisting over to the right and twisting over to the left. These twists are a nice therapy for our shoulders as well. Just loosening up the mid spine. Yeah, and then come back. We'll switch the cross of the hands, reach up and then down. Now I forgot to bend the elbows on the other side. We'll just bend the elbows here, feeling the hands travel towards the crown of the head, reach up the crown of the head towards those hands, and then extend the arms again and turn to the right and the left. Following that 3-part breath, if you can. A little different in a twist. Coming back. Great. And then release your hands, prayer position, hover above the head, elbows out to the side. So as the elbows reach out to the side, plug into those shoulders, and then allow the fingers to drop to the shoulders. Yep. And then we're going to just gently twist here, keeping our elbows out. And then come back to center, and we'll make circles with the elbows, gliding and rotating the shoulders. So only make those circles as large as it's comfortable for you. If you feel some cracking or something in there uncomfortable, you can take those circles smaller. And then take the circles in the other direction. So now we're going to make elbow circles, bigger circles, but let's begin by seeing if we can lift those elbows and bring the wrists together behind the head. If they don't come together, that's okay. Just bring them as close as possible. And then slide forward with the elbows in front of the face and see if you can touch those elbows, and the fingertips drop to the top of the shoulders. And then let's see if those wrists meet again behind us. Inhale, exhale, take the elbows together in front and behind and in front. Beautiful 3-part breath, making new shapes. That capacity of our shoulders to do that. But we're taking their time, okay? And then reach the arms out to a T. So as we take our time, we have that still point in space where we can observe our skeleton and joints and muscles instead of rushing them through life. Let's reach out our fingertips to the horizontal inhale. Feel that drawing back in towards the midline as you exhale. Beautiful. Now take the palms up towards the sky, thumbs back, pinkies up. We're rotating through the shoulders. And then down, thumbs down, and just make this rotational space in space with your palms as you notice you're really where the origin of this action is in those shoulder sockets, and the shoulder blades join in. Keep the face soft. Bring that softness into your practice, into your mind. And then take the palms up towards the sky, elbows dock into the ribs, and we do this outward rotation. So this is an extreme outward rotation of our shoulders. And then we keep the palms up, which those thumbs out really helps that rotation. If you're ever feeling hunched forward, you can just try this. And then we're going to bring the forearms together in front of the body and keep those forearms together and lift up in front of the face and separate like a curtain, and then come back into the ribs, open up those palms and then bring them in front 2 more times. So this is our second round. Exhale down. Enjoy that inhale on the way up. Drift the fingers down to the floor when you're done. Feel the balance, feel the alignment, and then inhale the arms up again. And we're going to take a twist. Exhale, let's twist, taking the fingers down to the mat or down to your knee and turn over. So from here, just take that back hand, the right hand to the sternum and the left hand to the belly, just noticing that your spine is really, and the spinal vertical axis is really the force behind this twist. Great. Drop the hands again. And then inhale, we'll come back to center. Exhale, drop the hands to the left twist. Again, take that left hand to the sternum, right hand to the belly. Just feel the twist coming from that vertical axis, not driving through the arms. And then take the arms down. So you feel that reach down the arms, that energy traveling from the shoulders down. It has a long path downward. And then come back to center. Take the hands at fingertips and feel them rooting into the earth. Feel yourself a little bit taller on an inhale, and on an exhale, take your right ear to a right shoulder. Ground through that left hand. Take your right palm up towards the sky. Reach it towards your left ear. So we're going to be super soft here. And just taking that hand to the ear, just encouraging a softening over of the right ear down. Lift the left arm up a little bit, left hand leaves the floor, and you're going to make tiny little circles with your left palm. And change your course of that circle the other direction. And find those fingertips on the floor again. Take your right hand to the other ear and lift the head up. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. And then just feel that dropping of the ear, softening. And then we'll take the fingertips on the right and just feel that grounding through them, press them into the mat. At the same time, lift the left palm up, take that left hand to right ear, just encouraging that softness. Gentle sensation between the hand and the ear. Energetic support there. And then we'll release the right hand and make gentle circles behind you. And in front. And I didn't do the palm flip on the other side, but you can do this as well during this exercise. Flip the palm up and down. Take those fingers, ground them on the floor so we have that connection there. Take the left hand to left ear and lift up. Freedom. Okay, take the hands to the thighs. Roll the shoulders away from the ears and notice with your breath as we finish the seated portion, we'll just notice that freedom and connection. Close the eyes for a minute, not a minute, take it for just one breath. 3-part breath into the belly, ribs, all the way up to your shoulders, give them that internal massage, and exhale. Beautiful. Great. Before we go over, let's take a side bend. Inhale the arms up to the sky, take a prayer position, and then lean over to your right. So we're just making sure we get our side bodies long. Part of our freedom for the shoulders, and then sway over to the other side. Grounding through that opposite sits bone. Great. Come on up, sweep the arms down. Now we'll come into recline for our bridge core work. Take the blanket to the side, grab a block if you have that nearby. You can do this without a block. If you don't have that prop, no problem. No prop, no problem. Take the hands behind you, support that curl of the spine as you come down to the mat. Hold the back of the head. Take the feet hip width apart, knees hip width apart, making sure we align ourselves here. And before we grab the block, just take the arms all full length next to the body, about 6 inches away. And just feel the full length of the arm press into the mat. So we're getting a full strength of the arms. As you strengthen along the arms, notice that channel of energy that travels from the shoulders, coming up to our awareness of the shoulder sockets. And we want the shoulder sockets rolling away from that axis of the spine. So curling away from the sternum. Press the elbows gently into the earth and then lift the sternum up. The shoulder blades come together a little bit more and we sigh that out and feel what that's like when we wrap the shoulders away from the sternum. Maybe a little bit of freedom in the front of the body. More breath capacity. Inhale, 3-part breath. Belly, ribs, clavicle. Exhale, belly, ribs, clavicle. Wonderful. So we're set up nicely here, the back of the skull and the sacrum aligned. Take the block between the thighs, squeeze the block. So we're activating more core as we squeeze the block, the lower abdominals. We're going to inhale, curl the spine up, pubic bone towards the sky, up into a bridge. The sternum is going to come towards our chin and looking softly up at the sky, press through those arms again and feel that helps the sternum reach toward the chin. We're traveling in that direction towards the face, lifting up towards the sky, squeezing the block, keeping everything aligned. Now stay in bridge. If you can reach for your block, you can come out of bridge slightly to reach that block and then grab the block, squeeze the block between your palms, straight arms up towards the sky, and you're squeezing and your shoulders are rolling away from the ears, holding bridge. And then as you squeeze the block, try to see if you can reach that block above your head towards the floor. Soften the face, relax, just take the strength into the feet and lift up only as far as is comfortable. And then bring it back down towards the thighs, take the block to the thighs and just snake your spine down and land down. Take the arms beside you. Take a breath here into the belly, into the chest, into the clavicle. Inhale. Exhale, let's feel the clavicle collapse and then the sternum, ribs, and the belly. So it's an opposite 3-part on that exhale. Great, let's squeeze that block again. Lift up, feel the glutes engage as we support the lift of the hips, pressing through the arms, shoulders roll away naturally. And then the sternum towards the chin, but look up, always look up. And then see if we can find that block, switch it to the palms, and then lift up towards the sky. As you lift up towards the sky on that vertical with the arms, keep the hips lifted, roll the shoulders back towards the floor. That's engaging some of those larger muscles on the shoulders to fortify as we stretch upward. So we're not going to go upward reaching willy-nilly so that we just get away from our support of the shoulders or keeping the support as we lift, even if that means you don't lift as far. We want to fortify and then come back up, squeeze between the thighs, place that block, and snake it back down. Notice your shape, that lovely alignment of our skeleton. Pause here for a breath into the belly, ribs, clavicle. And then clavicle drops, sternum, ribs, belly, release. Great. Lift the hips up one more time. And grab the block between the palms. Arc in the sky, rainbow shape, slow rainbow shape here as you make sure those shoulders are plugged in to their sockets. That's the top of the arm bone, that humerus wanted to plug into that gliding ball and socket. And then coming back up. And as we take that block to the thighs, just a reminder that if any of our practice is affecting your injuries in a negative way, snake your spine down. You want to make sure and adjust for your injuries, okay? It's all a suggestion. And this is therapy for the shoulders, but I want to make sure it's good for your shoulders. So adjust as necessary. So now we'll just take a nice hamstring stretch while we're here. Inhale the left knee towards the face. Take the hands behind the thigh. So we're going to not use the strap, but rather get a little bit of a lower back decompression here as we take clasp hands, fingers underneath the left back of the left thigh. And right here, we're going to press the hands and the thighs, the back of that thigh together. So already you're lengthening out the low back here. And then you're going to lift that sole of the left foot towards the sky. Maybe you want to go lower down on the left thigh to allow for a diagonal reach if your hamstrings are tight. So as you reach those, and as you're holding the back of the thigh, just notice if you're curling up through the spine on the top, those shoulders, see if you can roll them back away from that sternum. As you stretch the hamstring, bend and straighten your leg. Great. Bend and straighten. Just noticing the wake up of our hamstrings. And then float that back to the floor, change sides, inhale, right knee towards the face, back of the thigh support, press that counter pressure, hands to thigh, thigh to hands. And then lift your leg up, straighten it out. Find the angle that's comfortable for you. You don't want to go crazy on your first hamstring stretch. Keep that gentle pressure, hands to thighs, thighs to hands. So we're stretching out and elongating our low back. Notice, are the shoulders curling upwards towards the sky? Exhale them down and bend and straighten your leg. Got another ball and socket here with our hip. Just oxygenating that. Bringing some fluidity there. Keeping our feet flexed, toes spread. Beautiful. Guide that leg back down, float it back down. Let's take ourselves to one side. So onto you can choose which side. Since we are going to do dancer today, let's take a thigh stretch here. So let's do a recline Buddha, taking your left ear to the top of the left arm bone, the upper arm, and take your right hand in front of you. Let's find flexed feet so that we're doing a sideways Tadasana here on the floor. Inhale, exhale, bend the right knee. Take that flexed right foot towards the back of the mat. Align your knees. Point the tailbone towards the heels and notice that activation of your glutes. And notice the stretch in the front body. If it's possible for you, if it doesn't bother your knee, your right knee, to reach your right hand back to that right foot, then do that. Otherwise, just stay in that angle, right angle. You can also take a strap here and lasso that right foot. Inhale makes the body elongate. Exhale, finding our root on the earth. And release that leg. And then circle your ankle. Got a few snap, crackle, pop there. And then roll onto your back to the other side. Left knee lines up on top of right. Right ear onto upper arm of the right side. And then we'll take the left hand in front, feeling that length and active feet as we bend the left knee. Notice the right angle here and just reach the tailbone down. That's a very important activation point. More important than reaching the foot is elongating that tailbone so we can feel the opening across the front body, the thigh, and then reach back if possible, or take a lasso of a strap. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. And then release, roll onto your belly. We're going to come up into a forearm tabletop. So not too long here. So if you need to cushion underneath your shins, that's okay. But you can also just take those shins and anchor them and the tops of the feet and keep those knees lifted off the floor. Take the palms together in prayer position underneath the face. The elbows are below the shoulders and the knees are below the hips. So we got our beautiful alignment here. And we're taking this to forearm because it's nice to get into those shoulder muscles this way. We're going to separate the shoulder blades and inhale them away from each other. As you do so, naturally feel that mid-spine reach up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, actively draw the shoulder blades together and your sternum will drop towards the floor naturally. So it's a very small action, but it has great consequences. Inhale away, shoulder blades away. Keeping the hips steady, we're just activating that mid-spine. Drop the sternum. So you're strengthening the rhomboids here in between those shoulder blades. We're activating all the infraspinatus, supraspinatus, all of our shoulder blade supports, the intricacies of the muscles around that shoulder blade. Let's try this again with our breath. And then find a neutral place so that the shoulder blades are kind of in their neutral space. And we really feel that press of our forearms into the mat. And we're going to curl the tailbone under, take a cat here with the shoulder blades, with the forearms on the mat. Curl up, full spine curl. Drop the head and look at your knees. Look at the world upside down. Feel the curl, navel towards spine. Exhale it out. Lift the tailbone first before you look up. Feel the curling up through the spine. Exhale it out. Try it again. Into cat. Creative. This is our creative forearm cat. Separating shoulder blades. More capacity here to do that. Exhale it out. One more time. Really luxuriating here in our curl. Exhale, trail outward, look up towards the front of the mat. Beautiful. Now we're going to reach forward, support our palms on the mat as we snake our spine forward onto the belly. Bend the elbows as you come down. Keep them towards the ribs. As you gently come down, let the forehead land on the mat. Let the tops of the feet flip so that they are nice and rooted at the base of the mat. And we're going to feel as we root those feet down and the toenails that you get that tailbone is going to naturally point towards the heels more. The glutes are engaged. And we travel that energy up the spine, curling up. Take the hands next to the shoulders, elbows to the ribs, and take a beautiful curl upward into our baby young cobra. And then exhale the forehead down. Let's curl up again. Shoulders roll away from the ears. And one more time up. And down again. Now take the forehead down. Exhale. And then take your hands out a little further from the body and that horizontal away from the shoulders. And we're going to take the fingertips to the mat. So spider hands. And then you're going to make sure that your elbows are, your arms are at right angles and your elbows up towards the sky. This is creating a hammock effect in your sternum area between the shoulder blades. So take those fingers, root them down, pull back towards the heels, the tops of the feet to the mat, and then curl up into a cobra. Same action, lengthening as you reach up. This is a lengthening through the vertebrae, not crunching in. And then come down. Curl up one more time, pulling shoulders away from the ears, keeping those elbows reaching up. And then down. So further opening the shoulders. Bring right or left ear to the mat. And then take your hands in arms in cactus next to you. And then we'll gently roll. Take the left hand to the mat. And we'll gently roll the body to the right side, but only as far as you can. You can control this with your left hand on the mat as you. We're going to just gently stretch that right shoulder, keeping the arm in cactus on the floor, and then exhale down. Take that left arm into cactus, take the right hand next to the shoulder, and then roll away onto your left side. Beautiful. And then come down to the mat. Hands find that space next to the shoulders again. And now we're going to curl up into baby cobra and bring our forearms forward into Sphinx. So take the palms down to the mat, curl up from the base of the spine as you point that tailbone towards the heels. It's very important to keep that angle towards the heels so that you activate your lower back and extend the low back instead of like just dropping into it. Pull back energetically towards the heels, curl up. Keep your spine in the horizontal until you're ready with your eyes to gaze up like our Sphinx in Egypt. We've got some Egypt, exhibit coming to San Francisco soon. Yay. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Take your wise, calm, still point, look through that third eye forward. Any pain in the lower back, come down towards the floor. Sphinx pose. And then come back towards vertical with your spine. Look down at the mat. Take the palms into our prayer position, pressing those forearms into the mat. We're going to strengthen a bit here. So we're going to bring the knees. Let's come into knee plank here with our forearms on the mat. So notice right away, those shoulders are going to get some demand. So take the shoulders, roll them away from the ears, squeeze the armpits down towards the ribs. You really feel that latissimus dorsi down there, teres minor, or is it teres major on that part? The outer part, my anatomical study there. Inhale, let's take the knees off the mat if you can, curl the toes under, and we're in a nice long plank. Squeeze the glutes, and then come back down, knees down for a moment, and then come back up into plank. Breath here, 3-part breath. And then down again. So again, part of that fortifying of our shoulders, strengthening, stay in knee if that's okay for you, or come up to full plank, forearm plank, pressing the forearms into the mat. 3-part breath. Belly, ribs, clavicle. Exhale the air out. One knee down, then the other. Come back to Sphinx. Diagonally with the spine, look up. And curl yourself down to the mat. Beautiful. Forehead down. Nice job, everyone. Let's take the hands next to the shoulders. And we're going to bend the knees and come up as we prep for a downward dog. So take the shins to the mat. Sit back on your heels for a moment. And we'll take our arms forward just so we have that reminder. We'll reach away with the arms as if you're reaching out to hug someone, and then come back, bring the shoulder blades back together and roll the shoulders away from the ears. So keep that outward rotation in your upper arms. Take the palms up towards the sky. So we're really helping that outward rotation. So you notice as you take those thumbs outward, there's that traveling energy down to the thumbs, outwardly rotate those upper arms. However, now if you can keep the outward rotation and then turn the palms towards the floor again. Oh, nice. And now you're fortified for our down dog. Let's reach forward with that same rotation. Take the palms to the floor, towards the top of the mat, curl the toes under, come up into down dog. And find your expression by bending the knees, slowly, gradually coming into down dog, reaching long through the spine, outward rotation of the shoulders, and then pedal the feet, getting into those hamstrings, and then equally coming up onto tiptoes, ribs to thighs, bent knees, find that long back, and then exhale the heels down. These are hip width apart. Beautiful. Really get into a hamstring stretch here. Equal, feel that symmetry between the sides. Sigh it out. 3-part breath here so we can energetically release. Inhale what you want. Exhale what you don't need anymore. There we go. Take the weight off your shoulders and then walk the feet towards the hands to the top of the mat. Beautiful. Here we're taking a bent knee forward bend, hanging the head down, release. So part of our shoulder complex is those trapezius, reaching towards being connected to the neck, right? So we want to release the neck. Part of that release would be dropping the shoulders and just feeling that surrender. Head down, shake the head yes and no. Great. So we're going to come up to a flat back. We're going to take the fingertips to the mat, keep the knees bent, coming up into that flat back. Feel the shoulders rolling back, again, fortifying towards the armpits, and then exhale, fold forward. So see if you can take this movement into flattening through the shoulders, expressing it through the shoulders, and then dropping those shoulder blades, glide down when you drop the head. One more time, inhale up. This time when you've inhaled up to a flat back, reach the arms behind you and see if you can find a clasp, your hands clasp at the sacrum behind you. If not, just reach back with your hands, keeping the hands nice and active. Or just clasp the hands and then see if we can bend forward with the hands clasped behind the back. This is definitely a leg workout here. If you keep those knees bent, you can straighten the legs if you want to get that into the hamstrings as well. So stay in that bent knee. And now we're going to take that chair as we come up. So reach back with your hands. Again, we're kind of doing that prep for downhill skiing. And then we're going to sweep the fingertips to the mat, graze the mat as we come up, bring the arms next to the ears, and then unfold the ribs from the thighs into chair, knees behind your toes. Soften the face, press through the feet, and reach up towards the sky. Reach up, take one hand to the other wrist and lean over away from that wrist, leaning over, switch sides, come back up. Take one hand to the other wrist and lean over to a side bend. Oh, beautiful. Great. And now we're going to take the arms down. We're going to try a reverse prayer. So I'll show this backwards. Sweep the arms out to the side, T-arms, palms back, and then take the thumbs to the elbow creases behind you. Inhale in mountain. So we've got our feet hip width apart. And feel the tailbone dropping towards the heels. Thighs active, glutes active, and just notice the broadening across the collarbones, that sweet freedom we're allowing through our open heart space. And now let's visit the back of the heart. Now, some of you might be able to do this and others no. So it's just so you can stay with that drop of our forearms, or you can see if the hands will find a little prayer position behind you. If you do find that prayer position towards the base of the spine, just press those palms together. Again, we don't want to go too much to full capacity with our shoulders because they can be over flexible and we don't want to overdo it. So stay low. You can rise the fingertips up towards the head if you like, but be conscious and don't go too far. This is reverse prayer, a really nice way to remind ourselves that we have a back of the heart too. Inhale, exhale, drop the hands. Shake it out. And now we'll come into our dancer pose. So we're going to do this from the top of the mat, but but you can have a piece of furniture or any balancing prop nearby. Feel free to use that. Or since you've practiced with me so much, you don't mind the balance, try that. Take the feet to the top of the mat in mountain pose. Point the tailbone down, feel that strength, and we're going to come onto our right leg. The right leg is going to be the balance here. We're going to take it off the left and bend the knee into a right angle, just like we were doing lying down. Bring the hands forward into prayer, just if you want to feel that extra balance there. So find your balance, activate the glutes and the thigh muscles on that right foot. Great. And now I'm going to take the right arm up towards the sky and the left hand reaches back for that left heel if you can't, or that left foot. But if you can't reach the foot, just reach back for it. Keep your tailbone pointing back towards that left heel and hinge forward at the right hip into dancer. Palm on the right side comes up towards the sky. So we're outwardly rotating our shoulder. And see if you can reach back for that foot. If not, reach for the ankle. And keep that hinge nice and strong, a strong leg on the right, a hinge at the hip, finding the diagonal. Dancer, hips are even, pointing forward, come back up, release, shake that out. Okay, that was the left foot. So we're going to lift into a hinge at that right angle in front of the body. Hips forward. Point that left foot forward. We're going to draw the line in the sand behind us into a high lunge. So find a high lunge with the left foot back, curled under, front knee bent, drop the hips. Find your stance, take your moment. Keeping things aligned. Inhale, the arms above the head. Look up. Find the balance. And then sweep the arms behind you so that we're taking that clasp of the hands, opening up the shoulders here in our high lunge, reaching back through that back heel. Exhale. Hands to hips, guide the hips as you come forward, tiptoeing forward to mountain. Nice job. Let's try the other side. Inhale, exhale, find the root of your left foot, traveling up that leg, activate your quad, your glute, and we're going to bend the right knee, right ankle. Beautiful. Come into prayer just to get some sense of your midline. And then we'll lift the left arm next to left ear. Right arm is just pointing downward or reaching back to find that foot and hinging forward at the front hip. Keep the soft, steady gaze. Notice reaching back with your right shoulder. You're opening up that clavicle area, the connection to that right shoulder socket. Float back up on an inhale. And then release. And then transition to that right angle knee lift in the front of the body, hands on hips. Trace a line in the sand with those right toes to the back of the mat. Find your stance to have our high lunge, left foot forward. Drop the hips. You might need to widen the stance, and that's okay. Just see if you can guide those hips pointing forward. We're kind of working on that plane today where we're taking the hips forward. Pointing the tailbone down. Drop. Can you feel that activation of your core as you lift the arms up to the sky? And I mean, when I say lift, it's the pelvic floor on upward. So really elevate up through the midline. Look up at the hands and then sweep them back to clasp behind the body at the base of the spine. So you're rooting as you're lifting through that torso. Beautiful. Inhale, hands to hips. Exhale, come forward, stepping lightly into mountain. And then we're going to come to a wide stance in the middle so that the wide part of the mat is around us. Parallel feet. And then inhale the arms to our wingspan. Exhale, wingspan comes to eagle. Right arm under left. And we're going to wrap the palms together or take the back of the hands together. So we're going to roll the shoulders away from the ears here so we get nice therapy in our shoulders. Let's point those elbows up, draw a line up towards the sky, keeping the thumbs at the third eye level. Look up. Exhale, we're going to do a forward bend. We're just going to take the elbows and lean down towards the floor, hinging at the hips. If this hurts your low back, just stay diagonal. If you can come all the way down, wonderful. As if you're an eagle feeding its young in the nest, hang the head down. Draw that core together, zip it up as you come up. Bringing those eagle arms up and then sweep out again. Wingspan, left under right, exhale. And then draw that same line upward with your elbows towards the sky. Thumbs at third eye. So we're going to concentrate. Core activation. Remember that strong pelvic floor lift. Elevator up, zip up. The core, and then we're going to draw that line, hinging at the hip, downward, forward bend, head softens into our eagle nest here. Draw the core together, bring it on up. Wonderful. Sweep the arms out, again, wingspan. And now we're going to fly down, hinging at the hips. Bringing the hands down to the mat. Beautiful. Let's slightly bend the knees as we heel to ourselves into the center, hip width apart. And from here, walk the hands out. We're going to come into a full plank, but on the opposite direction if your space allows, or you can come full length on your mat. Just come into that full plank, which is keeping those hands shoulder width apart, rolling shoulders away from ears, squeezing down towards the armpits. Everything's so strong. Long spine. Inhale, 3-part breath. Belly, ribs, chest. belly, ribs, chest. Knees down. And bring the hips to the mat. And we'll come down to a luxurious twist. So just soften onto your side and onto your back. Find your alignment here. Our spine axis is on the floor, horizontal. Celebrate the movement, the warmth we've created, and then roll over onto your left side. Knees together. So you want to keep those knees together during our twist and the pelvis perpendicular to the mat. All of our geometry here. We're going to take the palms together in our sidewalk chalk rainbows. So take the right hand, grab your favorite color, and draw that line on above the head, a rainbow arc above your head. Watch the fingertips as they draw. So you probably maybe get to about 12 o'clock above your head, and you'll feel a more extreme rotation through the shoulder. So stop there, just pause, and then pull the shoulder away from the ear and plugging that shoulder in, come up again, see if you can draw a little further. Pause, keeping those knees together. We're taking this into a twist. So bend the elbow, reach only as to your capacity. So maybe you just got right here and you're like, this hurts my shoulder, or it's starting to hurt. Come back. Draw that arc back towards the left palm, and then draw it again. Same line, maybe a different color in your mind, and then draw as far as you'll go here. You can bend the elbow slightly, but the point here is to just rotate through the shoulder therapeutically without straining the shoulder. This is therapeutic, so we don't want to hurt it. Now, if you want to take this into a twist and keeping that bent elbow coming over to your right side, traveling a little further so that the sternum comes towards the sky, really kind of getting granular here with my explanation, but I want to make sure we keep the shoulders safe. One side will probably be more flexible than the other. That is how it goes. And if you're uncomfortable with this twist, you can always do just a traditional rotational twist across the chest and back again. One more arc here. Each time you rotate, a little more flexibility in that spine, and then we're going to roll onto the other side. Left on top this time. Align that spine and your knees and your hips, and then move things aside so you can draw that rainbow. And look at your fingertips. So your gaze is following those fingers. And in my case, I have a lot of asymmetry in my spine. So this side is a lot more flexible than the other. And you'll feel as you repeat it, there's a little more upward motion through the sternum, a little more twist in that mid and upper spine. So the lower spine, I want to reiterate, is not moving here. It's steady with the pelvis. If this is uncomfortable for you, just take that traditional twist, opening across that horizontal through the arms. Or enjoy all the colors of this rainbow. Breathing into that mid spine. So good. This rainbow one, really notice this tracing twist afterwards. I really notice, wow, that really did the job. I didn't even notice while I was doing it. Roll onto your back. Take the knees together, the feet wide apart. Take one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Just feeling the breath in your hands. Breathe into the lower hand and then the hand at the sternum. And see if you can reach that breath up to the shoulders. And exhale, feel the shoulders, the sternum, and the belly. Downward motion. Breathe into the hands again. And exhale. Find your breath. Notice the quality of your breath compared to when you began. Does it feel warmer, slower, calmer? Drop one hand, arm next to the body, palm up. Drop the other hand next to the body, palm up. And let's take the knees to hip width apart and push down with your feet towards the bottom of the mat. So when you push down the feet, just on the mat, keep them on the mat and push down. Notice the skin behind your shoulder blades rolls down towards the heels. Beautiful. And then release. Now you're set up nicely for a lift through the sternum. Press the elbows into the mat. Lift up a little bit more on the inhale. Exhale, squeezing shoulder blades together. Release. So this is a passive release of the shoulders. Effort. Take the weight off your shoulders, literally. And then we'll take the right leg long and the left leg long. Flop the feet out to the side. And feel the lightness. So now that we've visited those lovely, miraculous connections of our shoulders, let's bring that lightness to them. Just feel the lightness energetically through your breath, releasing off of your shoulders anything you feel you've been carrying, whether it's your mind or your spirit, your worries, fears, all of those visceral sensations we have that our shoulders tend to take. Let's release that through an exhale. If you can just imagine that lightness off the shoulders, sending the intention of letting things go through your exhale. Allow that release off your shoulders to travel down the arms, releasing out the palms, the fingers open. Just feel that release, energetic through the fingertips and the palms. Let's take that release into the whole body, inhaling all the way down to the toes. Exhale. Change the nature of your spirit, mind, body, carrying you lightly forward to your day or night. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. Bend the elbows and the knees. Roll gently onto the right side. Guide yourself up to a seated position with the support of your hands. Keep the head nice and soft and low. And then roll it up to our seated position. Feeling that head perhaps a little bit lighter on your shoulders. I hope so. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Bring a prayer position above you, past your third eye, and past the throat to the heart. Thanks so much for joining me in this practice today. Namaste, everyone.